Hi and welcome to the channel. In today's video I'm going to show you how to create lots of different artwork using text, images, graphics and other design elements. So you can see from these two posters it's virtually exactly the same poster except that we've just got a slightly different background on this one, and it has a massive effect on the overall design. But I'm going to show you each different feature, how to place them into your design and the different customization tools that can be used. So I'm just going to open a new default document, and here's my A4 page. So the first thing I'm going to do is change the orientation to landscape. So go to Layout, Orientation, Landscape. So firstly, let's show you how to insert and customize an image. So go to Insert, Pictures, Picture from File. I'm going to select this image here, just click Insert. When an image is inserted into Word, you can't move it, so select it, go to Wrap Text and select in front of text, and now we can move it and resize it. So we're just going to pop it over here. Now various customizations to images. If you select it, you can go over to these elements here. There's a transparency slider, there's lots of artistic effects in here. You can change the colour of your image. We can make it more of a black and white if we choose to. If you don't like it, just go back one step by Command or Control Z. And we've got corrections as well. This is where you can make your image brighter or darker or more contrast or less contrast. So there's lots of different options here for your image. Once you're happy with your image, we can go ahead and show you how to insert some text. So go to Insert, Text box, Draw text box, click and draw out a text box. Now for this one I'm just going to show you how to put in one letter, and that will enable me to show you a lot of other things to go with it. So I'm just going to deselect this text box. You can see we've got a black borderline, a white background and just some normal text. I'm going to customize all of those. Select the text box, go to the Home tab, and I'm going to increase the size of my font using this icon here. You can type in the number that you want here if you want to, or use the drop down. Then I'm going to make it bold, and then I'm simply going to change the colour. And I can do that using this icon here, and let's choose this orange. Then I'm going to go to Shape Format. This will only appear if you've selected it, and then I'm going to go to these two icons here. So this is the borderline, the black borderline running around the outside. I'm going to get rid of it by going to No Outline. And then Shape Fill, I'm going to do the same and select No Fill. And now we've got a transparent image. And we can turn this or make it bigger or smaller by going to the Home tab and just using that increase or decrease font size tool. I'm going to make this one quite big. And then because I've taken the background and the borderline out and I want to create another letter, I'm just going to copy and paste this. The easiest way to do it is to select it, hold down the Alt or Option key, click and drag. Then for this one, I'm just going to type the letter B, and this time I'm going to do a lowercase. And that's just no more than just a design feature. And I'm going to place it here. Then if I select this, I'm actually this time going to go to Shape Format and all the way over to Format Pane. Format Pane is wonderful. It has lots and lots of different customization options. You do have to be careful though. There's the shape option here, which refers to the box that houses your letter or text. And then you've got the text options here, which will be your letter itself. So for this letter, I'm going to go to Text Fill, and I'm going to go to Solid Fill and change the colour of my letter. And I'm sorry you can't see my colour, it's like the rust colour that you can see. And then there's a transparency slider here which will allow my picture to show through that letter just to give it a little bit more interest. But it also means I can overlap this other letter as well if I want to. And with this one I can also change that transparency as well if it's just a little bit too powerful for what you're looking for. And this in itself is how you would write on an image, because you can continue your text, you can make this box as big or small as you want, and then you can just continue to add text as you choose to. Now in case you want to move it around, I would urge you to select all three by holding down your Command or Control key, going up to Group and selecting Group. And now you can move this round as one. You can resize it. It may adjust that lettering slightly. If you hold down the shift key, it will keep the ratios, but as you can see, when I do that, the lettering does disappear. So you do have to be a little bit careful with that technique. Then we're going to go to insert, we're going to go to shapes, and then we're going to go down to the arrow, and we're going to select and draw out an arrow. Now with shapes, you just simply click and draw, and you can make these any shape you like. You can use all of the squares to make these as big or small as you want. These again with shapes, they come with a borderline and with a fill colour. You can go up to the top here and choose to change them with these two icons, or you can go over to the format pane here. It's got exactly the same tools, but there's just more over here. So with this one, if we go to the fill here, it's in the bucket icon and go to gradient, you can see we've got some gradient colours here. And if I move these sliders, you can see how that affects my arrow in terms of the colours. So if I want to change these colours, I just click on the icon here, go down and select a colour. And you can see we've just got this black border line around the outside. So let's take that off, go to line, select no line. And then we've got this shape here that we can now customise to suit our needs. Now we can also copy and paste these as we did before. Hold down the Alt or Option key, click and drag. Deselect them both and reselect one of them because I only want to make 3. To make sure they're all lined up, select them all by again holding down the Command or Control key. Go up to Align. If you distribute vertically, it will put an equal distance between each of those arrows. Align to right, and it will make sure they're all lined up to the left or right. Then go to Group and select Group, and now you have a group of arrows, again, which you can move anywhere. You can move over the top of the picture, you can move it to the side, or you can even move it to the back of the picture by going up to Send Backwards, click on the drop down and select Send to Back, and you can see we can send those arrows behind or above, and you can see it works a little bit like layers if you were to use Photoshop. Once again, you can resize it. You do have to be a little bit careful because it will adjust the image slightly. But again, that's a feature that you can use. So let's just pop that about there. The next thing is going back to the text. Let's just draw out a text box again. And let's put some words in. And I'll show you how you can align words. Again, we're going to take off the borderline and background. So quickly go to Shape Format. Take off no outline and no fill colour, and that will allow you to have just the words. Go to the Home tab. I'm going to increase the size of that font, and then go to your fonts, and you can select from any number of different fonts. You can select bold if you like. And then the other feature is if you select your text, just click, drag across your text. If you right click, go down to Font, go to Advanced, and in spacing here you can space out your letters. So you can see they're quite close together, particularly here, but you can actually space them out. So I'm just going to put 5 in this box and press Enter, and you can see how Word has now spread out those letters. Now that's a really useful tool to have because it means you can really customize the text that you use. I'm just going to center this text. And then so that we don't have to repeat that, I'm going to click on it, hold down my Alt or Option key, click and drag out another one. Now the reason I do this when I'm putting words together in titles, let's just put amazing in here, is because if I was to put both of these words into the same text box, there would be a distance between them that I can't control, or a line spacing. Whereas now I can literally put them on top of each other if I want to. I can nudge them both up together. I can move them around to align them, or I can put them really close together at the end and link them together. But I have so much more choice of what I do with these two words. And I can also make them completely different sizes. And I can also rotate them using the rotation here. So let's just move this up to here. I'm just going to reduce the size of that slightly. You can see there's a big jump between the 48 and the 72 font size. So let's go to 55 and press enter. And I like to keep my text boxes as small as they'll go. It just means that I have more control. And when I go to click on something, I don't click accidentally onto that artwork or that text. So here I can just move it around. Now you can see it does jump around a little bit. But as I move it, if I press my Alt key, you can see how smooth that is now. So I can just go along here, maybe consider popping that round about there, for no other reason that it continues this line here. So look for some kind of design element, a link or a continuation of something, just to make this work a little bit better. The other thing you can do with text and lettering and words, at the moment this is in a text box and I can only adjust it by making the text bigger or smaller through the font sizes. However, if I right click on this word and I go down to save as picture, if I save this as a PNG file here, I'm going to save it to my desktop and I'm going to save it as picture 1 and click save. I'm just going to replace that. I deselect, then go to insert, pictures, picture from file, because we've now turned that word into a picture. You can see my pictures here. Click insert. When it's inserted, again you can't move it like the first picture, so go to wrap text in front of text. Now I can move it. The difference now is that when I make this bigger, the whole word grows, but I can also stretch the word and I can also squash the word, which is not what I can do with this one. So if I go to stretch this out, you can see the artwork stays the same, or the text. It's just the box that moves. Whereas because this is now a picture or an image, I can actually resize this to work with whatever I like. So if I wanted to make it the width of this here, I could stretch it out perfectly. So that will make your text far more versatile, but what you do need to do is make sure it's the correct color and it's the correct spelling, because you cannot adjust the text once it's a JPEG. So let's just take that off and let's insert some more artwork and images. And this is to show you how you can crop an image to a shape. So if we go to shapes again, click on the square or rectangle, and let's make 3 rectangles. Let's copy and paste this one, again holding down that Alt or Option key. Deselect, reselect one of them, and then copy and paste that one. Now I'm going to select them all by holding down the Command or Control key, which will allow you to select multiple elements. Go to Align, distribute horizontally, align to the top, and then we're going to group these together, and this is all now one group. Now make sure that this group is exactly the size you want, because now what we're going to do is to go over to Format Shape, going to go back to the bucket, but this time we're going to fill it with a picture or texture. Now automatically it's picked the last picture I used on this particular tool. But if it's not the right picture, just go to Insert and then just select the picture from all of your choices. I selected this one here and that's the one it's selected for me. So you can see I've got these border lines around the outside. You can keep them if you want to, but once again you can just go up to the top here and just click Shape Outline, No Outline. And there you have your image cut across several different shapes. You can do exactly the same with a circle or a triangle. It's completely up to you. Just be mindful, if you do a circle, your image has to be a perfect square. So now that I've placed this here, I'm actually going to delete that one, go back, and I'm actually going to insert the picture that we made from that word. I'm going to go to wrap text again to make sure I can move it. But because I've now got this picture inserted here, what I can do is actually make this work for me a bit better by filling this space. And as you can see, that's one of the fantastic advantages of making a word into an image. So the next thing I'm going to show you is yet again how to use some text, and go to Insert, Text Boxes, Draw Text Box, click and draw out a text box. Here I'm just going to insert some random text, and then I'm just going to select it all and go to the Home tab and just reduce the size of that text and just change the shape of my text box. Once again, I'm going to go to Shape Format, take out the outline and the shape fill, so we're just left with text. So once again, you can place this text wherever you like, but alternatively, if you wanted to do something slightly different and you've got multiple elements of text, let's just copy and paste that across. Obviously you have different text in here if you want to. Select this text box, go to the Home tab, and then go to Right Align. And then you can put these text boxes together, leaving a small gap, and you can make relevant adjustments to them that allow them to line up at the bottom. Again, you can select them both, go to Shape Format, go to Group, select Group, and again, in one group you can move them anywhere you like to fit your design. So I'm just going to show you one more technique, and then I'm going to speed up the video because I think I've showed you most things except for this last thing, and this can be really powerful. Go to Insert, go to Shapes, click on the square. You can click on any shape you like. I'm just going to click and draw out a square so I can show you this. Select it and then go to Edit Shape. Then go to Edit Points. Now this is a really powerful tool. As you can see, I've now got a red borderline and these black markers around the outside. If I move these black markers, just click and draw them down, you can see how I can change my shape. Now it also has these handles that you can move, and if you put the handles in one complete straight line, it will create a perfect curve, which means realistically you can make any shape you like from one shape. Now you can put in a circle, you can put in a square, it doesn't matter because you can continually add points, reduce points and customize them. But as I say, if you put the lines in or the handles in a perfect line, you will create a perfect shape. So let's just go back a couple of steps. And once you're happy with your shape, I'm just going to make this simple shape for now. Just select it, go over to Format Shape, go to Fill, go down to Line, and we're just going to make the width of this line 20 and press Enter. Then we're going to say No Fill. Then we're going to go to Colours and just select a colour. Again, I'm going to select the light rust colour. And once again, you can change the shape, you can move it around. And once again, you can play with the transparency here. So you can make it almost like a watermark, or you can make it a lot less transparent. Now, when you then go up to this icon here, you can then create a shadow. So let's go down to shadows in the presets, select a preset, doesn't really matter which one because you can customize all of them, because you can change the angle of it here, and as you can see that makes an alteration. The blur as well, you can adjust that. The size of that shadow you can adjust, and again also the transparency, and you can adjust the distance, which again you can play around with. So I'm going to take the blur off. Now it's also interesting, you can change the colour of your shadow, so I'm going to choose the orange, and then with the angle you can move this anywhere you like. So let's just change the distance so you can see how you can move that angle around and make such a massive difference to your design, and then you can move the distance back or forward. So this is a really powerful tool for creating lots of different designs, shapes and shadows to double up on those original shapes. And again, you can move them around to suit what you want. So I'm just going to copy and paste this one, and then I'm going to use it at the top here by rotating it and then just moving these elements here to suit exactly what I want and to show you how this can be fully customized. Now you can see I've put this over the top of this text and the photo. If I don't want that, again, go to center backwards, center back, and it will send that artwork behind everything else. And again, try and look for a way in which you can at least line it up with something, or it will make sense. So now I'm just going to finish this off by adding a few more features, but I'm going to speed up the video so you don't have to sit through it, but nothing I'm going to do now you haven't already seen. Okay, so that's the artwork finished. Now we need to concentrate on the background because that can make a real difference. So go to Insert, go to Shapes, click on the drop down and select the square. Click and draw out a rectangle that covers your entire page. Now once again we're going to go over here to the bucket icon and we're going to go to Gradient Fill. And now we're going to go to Send Backwards, Send to Back. That should send it completely to the back. Now you can start to make your adjustments. If you want to change the colour of these gradients, you can literally select any colour you like. That was not a good choice. And then perhaps with the centre one, I think we chose a pink. And you can go through all of these colours and the gradients to play around with them. If they're too powerful, you can go to the transparency slider and you can tone them down. It's completely up to you. Now, just as one more thing that I found useful earlier, I selected this image, and because this is grouped together with the letters as well, I actually went up to Line and clicked on Solid Line, and I chose an orange colour, or sorry, it was a pink colour, and it put these beautiful lines around the outside of the letters. Now that's just a personal choice, but I did it earlier and I thought it was rather nice, so I thought I'd show you that as well. So you can see there's literally hundreds of different techniques in Word that can be really useful to help you in your full design, and it can be really, really creative and powerful. So I really hope that some of those techniques you found useful. If you have, please like and subscribe, and have a great day.